Adventures, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wade in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Show X on VTWProductions.com. You're listening live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT on this Sunday, the 22nd of April, 2018. I'd like to say hi to everybody and welcome as we have our friend Ken back in his, uni studio versus traveling on the road in VPhone. So good to see you, Ken, in full strength, as well as joined today by both Akko and Heidmeyer. And
hello.
So welcome to the show, everybody, today. How are you doing today, Ken?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good to be here, and I'm glad to actually be using this fancy microphone that we have here, and not my crappy headset. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling to be at full strength, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more relaxed.
So hopefully, as this is our second week now on the new audio setup, on me doing different virtual cables as well as little bits of streaming updates and things like that on Twitch and YouTube. So hopefully let us know if it's coming through well or not, and please let me know if you see things kind of going, ah! And so if not, yikes. But yeah, let us know real time with show so that we can keep things up to quality, and hopefully you guys are all having a good time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try to kick things off today with a little bit of
dysfunctional deviations.
So on dysfunctional deviations today, Ken, what have you been up to that hasn't been geeky, sir?
Well, I've not got much to talk about, just a couple little things. So in an attempt to live life to the fullest, as I've said before,
yes,
Kitten and I have been doing more things at the weekend rather than just sitting playing video games. And so we decided, well, I planned a couple things this weekend. Today we went to a fair, I guess, like a sort of like a roller coasters, visiting rides and candy floss and all that sort of thing. Right?
You saw some carnies.
Yeah, so there's this place called the Lynx Market, which is apparently the oldest market in Europe, with it being established in 1304.
That's pretty old.
It's an annual 6-day event which attracts between 200,000 and 300,000 people. So yeah, we went along there. I introduced Kitten to something that was quite important in my childhood. We used to go there quite a lot, and we got on one of the rides, and that was fun. She screamed the whole way around. It was one of these super fast spinning circle things.
Oh God, no!
Okay,
yikes.
So those are my favorite. I love them.
Adrenaline junkie. Well, my challenge is
was it like one of the
spinning.
G-force ones that just is meant to like throw you against the walls, or was it just like teacups where you just spin until you vomit?
It was more like teacups, but like super fast. So it's like a little cart that you get into. Bar comes down, and it's inside, so it's not as if you're in the air, but it's intentionally like detached from the main part of the ride, so that when you go faster, the cart sort of starts to face outwards, and you're just sort of sideways for when you're going the fastest part. It's yeah, it's pretty scary. But honestly, when I go on these things, I kind of enjoy it for a few seconds, but then I don't feel scared. I just feel like, okay, I just feel kind of sick. Just a little sick and just kind of wanting to get off now. And then I start thinking, you know what? I'm probably the heaviest guy on this ride right now. There's a lot of kids here. I wonder if my weight is going to have an effect on the momentum here.
Throw it off on the other side. Yes.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm not the most fun person at these kind of things, but it was kind of fun, and we also went and got some tasty foods. I had some bratwurst.
Nice.
Kitten had some candy apple, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And yesterday we went to a wildlife center, which is about half an hour from town.
Okay.
And it was fun. They had donkeys, they had chickens, they had goats, they had Highland coos.
I do not know what a Heelan Coo is.
Okay, can you screen share? Can you screen share to the audience, and then Google it?
Oh, let's see.
Just
Okay. Yes, I can. Okay.
It's a beautiful creature. It's a beautiful creature.
So you say, okay, send me in the chat link how to spell it.
It's the word Highland and then the word cow.
Oh, just cow. Okay. Well, so I was hearing you say, I'm like, what?
Well, we would pronounce it Heeland Coo.
Exactly. Like, what? Oh, okay. I'm getting images.
If you look at both the calves and the fully grown version, they're extremely cute and well known for being cute. In fact, we all here in Stirling. There's hundreds of tourists a day stopping by the nearby field with Highland cows, just stopping to get photos with them. Oh. They're adorable things. They really are, and apparently they're quite tasty as well.
Well, there you go for everyone who's watching. I put up pictures of Highland cows.
Oh no, they're adorable. I love that.
Yeah, they're
so big, shaggy, hairy cows with big horns. And little baby ones that are surprisingly adorable.
Yeah, so I learned that because of the fact that they're so furry, they don't need so much cuticle, I think they said, fat. Meaning there's not as much fat in the meat, so they're actually a lot leaner to eat. So the meat's a lot finer quality than most cows.
Interesting.
I thought you were going to finish off that lovely statement by saying, so we don't eat them because they're just cute.
What?
And I was like,
wishful thinking.
What kind of heathens do you think they are?
Listen, I like cute animals.
Yes, we all do, but some of them taste really good.
That's Silver Spoon all over again. Great anime, by the way.
Yes.
About farm animals and learning to eat them.
Even the cutest ones that you raise yourself.
Don't name them. You'll get attached, and then you'll have your heart broken.
Mm-hmm. Or name them appropriately, like bacon.
He named his pig Pork Bowl.
Was it Pork Bowl? Yeah.
Pork Bowl. The equivalent would be like Pork Chop.
I don't want to spoil it, but he was so good.
Kitten had that exact same problem. She grew up with a lot of farm animals and named them, and they were just pets. Until one day when her father decided to sell some of them off, and told the kids that they're off to live on a happy farm somewhere, but that's not where he sold them to.
Oh, that's
come on.
Unfortunate.
I think everyone should truly appreciate and understand where their food comes from.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'm pro hunting, so long as you're very ethical about it, because I think it's really important to learn about the fact that that is really an animal you're eating. That's not just a hunk of magic meat that comes out of the butchers. That's a real animal, and you need to understand that. I really think that's important for all humans.
I do too. So yes, I'm a big fan of, yep, this is how you get your meat, and this is how they kill it. Yep. I mean, there's a time and place, but still.
Yeah. I mean, we still be polite about it, but you know what? It would actually encourage more vegetarianism. I'm pretty sure if we encouraged more hunting in that aspect. And I, even though I am a meat eater, I do think the more vegetarians we have, the better it is for animal welfare. So okay. So the one thing I wanted to mention about the Wildlife Center was it was actually the first ever time I've seen a turkey up close. Really? I've only ever seen like cartoon representations or like, I don't know, drawn pictures, paintings, or them from far away in videos. I've never seen them up close. Those are some disgusting animals. They are ugly. They are just horrific. They look like multiple testicles that are like inflamed and flayed. They're just disgusting. They are horrific. They look like just melted flesh. They're horrible. Like I don't eat them, not to protect them. I just don't want to go near them. They're just ugly.
Lucky there are people who will put them out of their misery for you.
Yes, and serve them up so you can enjoy them.
I have no plans to eat turkey again. Oh my god!
What? Why not?
Oh, it's so
They're
bad.
Like tiny little flesh bags.
That's great.
So yesterday I actually Googled while I was at this wildlife center, why are turkeys so ugly? Because I was curious. Because I thought it was just weird.
There has to be a reason why God made them to be so horrible.
So you don't feel bad about eating them.
Well, I thought it was just me. I honestly thought it was just me that thought they were ugly, because I've never heard of this before. I didn't realize they're ugly creatures.
Turkeys are hideous.
I like how you're like, I didn't know.
I thought they were just like cute. Like chickens are kind of cute. I like chickens, and chicks are cute as well. Turkeys, just god awful. They look like all of sin, like just like materialized. So I googled this. I googled why are turkeys so ugly.
Okay.
And I found this article on a website called creepybasement.com, which is a bit of a weird website.
Where you been going, Ken?
I actually really like this article. Can I share a screen? Is that a thing I can do? Are we set up for that?
Man, you keep making me on the fly. Like, first share your screen. Now share my screen. Now, let's see. Let me do something real quick. As you go ahead and beat me to it. Let's see. There's a way I can do this.
Well, in the meantime, I'll just talk about the article. So, it's just for context, because the article talks about pictures of turkeys.
Yeah, you can have it up. I mean,
wow.
right now we see us again in your window from Twitch.
Oh,
For what you're sharing.
hello.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's weird. Oh, that's weird, because that's not the tab ad active. I don't know why it's doing that.
That's true. Or
Dark magic.
Turkeys do look great with mashed potatoes and gravy. They look delightful
so-
with those.
little bit of stuffing.
Oh, I love stuffing.
So I thoroughly
Cranberry.
enjoyed this.
Cranberry
this,
sauce.
I thoroughly enjoyed this article, and it really made me laugh my head off when I was next to these disgusting animals. It has pieces
That's
such
funny.
as, "I hope this done turkey never turns its gross head. This turkey didn't cover itself with baked beans. That's just what its face looks like." I would make the good, the bad, and ugly reference here, but these three are all ugly.
That's funny. So, Ken, I'm still seeing us now on what you're sharing.
That's really annoying. Okay, wait, there we go. Okay, sorry.
That's funny. Okay, so with that, Ken, now I can throw it up so it's full screen of yours. It's not the best resolution, but it's there.
Okay, as long as there's some context, ideally. So there's the turkey with the baked bean head. There's the good, bad, and ugly reference joke one. This turkey looks like his face was melted with Jedi lightning, which I think is quite accurate. I mean, look at that thing. Like, why does it even have just a bit of flesh hanging over its mouth? It's
Ken
like
is
a
so
nose that
disturbed
just goes
by
down
this.
past your chest. I don't understand it.
So disturbed.
This turkey does not suffer from extreme burn. It just naturally has a demon face. I mean, it's just like the most accurate article I've ever seen about turkeys. Those aren't tumors on its neck. Turkeys don't get cancer. Turkeys are cancer. They look like a walking brain with wings.
No, this is
Or this
great,
one
Ken.
that says this turkey looks like a tongue with wings.
No, this is
These
great.
are fantastic.
It has a nice blood trunk, doesn't it? Like a nasty elephant. Look at it. It's just a horrible creature. Like, why? Who looked at that and said, "You know what? I'm going to eat that." Like, I don't understand it.
So, but at the same time, Ken, this is, you eat almost anything. It's like, it's meat. Why wouldn't you?
Do you
That's not
perchance
how it
have
works.
difficulty eating squid?
Ugh.
Actually, I wouldn't eat squid due to they're quite intelligent. So,
What?
And
There's
this one
nothing wrong
says-
with eating intelligent.
Well,
this one says this turkey looks like me in my awkward phase in high school and college.
oh no.
Look into the eyes of this turkey all you want, but you will find no soul there. Judging by its face, I assume this turkey is 1,000 years old. It's like a living corpse.
No, I will
What a
freely
good
admit
article.
that yes, these are not pretty creatures. So yes, I do get that. But at the same time, I mean, they're good. They're tasty. I like them. All right, you are now back to you. So let us get, back to all of us. There we go.
I just thought that was that really summed up my views on turkeys, because I really think they are just absolute cancer. They are just horrific looking creatures.
I gotcha. No, that is entertaining, and I
How
appreciate
people
that.
feel with spiders, I feel with turkeys now. It's just, ugh, God. All right. So that was a random thing, but I just want to talk about that for a little bit. Over the next couple of days, I'm hosting a rather big corporate visitor to our university for the first time. It's quite a big deal. I've been planning this for weeks, and I've got like lecture halls all booked out.
Oh, nice.
I've got like food booked for different events. I've been trying to work with getting all the travel sorted and the likes, make sure they arrive here on the correct time in the right place and everything. And all that has been quite arduous to make sure it falls into place. And so that's tomorrow and the next day. And I actually did something kind of out there. I've made a PowerPoint presentation for the one thing that I actually need to present myself, which is like an hour-long presentation on some Java stuff.
Okay.
And I decided to make it really unique and stand out. Like normally, if I'm doing a university presentation, I need to have university templates. Okay. Or if I'm doing a presentation to like for this company that I'm kind of working with, I would use their templates. But because I'm doing a sort of like mix between the two, and it's kind of a standalone lecture that isn't necessarily sponsored by one or the other, I just decided to do my own thing. So I actually made my own PowerPoint theme now for the first time ever, which I always wanted to do, actually, and a weird thing I always wanted to do. But what it does is you can choose from, like, I think it's like 40 different slide templates within it. So for each slide, like say you want one of the bullet point list, there's like 40 different versions, each with a different picture of mine in the background. So I've managed to mix my photography in with a PowerPoint slide.
Nice.
Then the way I make it work is that I have all the text on top to have this nice drop shadow behind it. So it's white text with a black shadow behind it, so you can read it clearly no matter the background. And I'm looking forward to showing that off, and hopefully that works out quite nicely. And it's also free, shout outs to my own photos online. So that, a free advertising. So that's always nice. So I've got quite a lot going the next couple of days, and I'm really hoping that goes well.
Nice.
And lastly, 15 days until Wayne's birthday, just so everybody knows. It's 15 days.
15 days
What?
and counting.
T-minus
What?
15 days.
What?
Just so everybody knows.
Why would you even bring that up? Let alone...
So feel free to drop your Amazon wishlist link in the chat. And 15 days from now, we'll see what wonderful, delightful things you get.
Hey.
I like this idea. Or just buy them random funny things. That'd be fun too.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
So
Dragon dildos, for example.
We
Wait
have
a
a link
second.
for that.
Technically, we have a contact.
We have a contact for that.
So, in all actuality, we need to figure out, and I've wanted to do this for a while, actually, to put our store up for a link for Amazon store so we can buy stuff through ourselves kind of deal.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, there's a cashback type scheme, isn't there?
Well, essentially, yeah. And that's when I die. So yes, we should do something like that, but you really don't need to remind people or bring anything up about birthday stuff. That's just
It's okay, I'll keep doing it. It's all right.
I appreciate you.
You're a butt. Anyhow, minus that ridiculousness, let's see, what else do you have on your list of things you've been up to and
That's
doing?
everything. That's all I've been up to, I'm afraid.
No, that is okay. We all get, have various levels of how busy we've been this week, including us on our side. So let's see. From our point of view, what's been going on that hasn't been geeky this week? I think the first thing I was throwing on my list of things to talk about was we just hosted for friend of the show, John Wasik. Yesterday was his bachelor party. Because this man is getting married to a beautiful woman this coming week. And so, amongst other things I've been doing, just generally helping them out, decided that he should be able to host his party here so he'd have a nice venue for all his people to come join. And so we had...
That was nice.
It wasn't a big party. He one of the things is he very specifically wanted to keep it chill.
He wanted a very calm party. He specifically requested no strippers, nothing crazy. Just wanted to hang out, pretty much. Play games. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, just to kind of hang out.
Yeah.
And so, and he had never had a bachelor party or anything like this. Hadn't really been. In fact, how was I going to put it? Has never even been to. And so this was his first experience of anything bachelor party related.
Yeah, I think. Well, so the only bachelor party I've technically been to prior was my brother's, and he didn't technically have one. So we ended up actually kidnapping his bride-to-be from the courthouse after they got their marriage statement, and basically made them reenact the entirety of the Princess Bride, including putting him into costume and making him actually go rock climbing through the Cliffs of Insanity, full sword fight, full battle of wits with his fiance's dad, and then escaping down the cliffs and then going to an escape room. So that was my only experience. Yeah, that was fun. I could talk about that. That was brief synopsis. But, so, that's my only prior experience before this, so I wanted to make it memorable.
Yeah. Whereas, like, for me, my previous experience, I didn't really have a bachelor party when I had gotten married, and so I can't really speak to my own. But what was it? My friend Chris, we went to Las Vegas for his bachelor party, and so kind of made a big to-do about the whole thing. And I remember that one, and kind of spoke before, is going out, and first thing was getting there, and no sooner than having been in Vegas for like an hour or two, we were on another plane out in the desert to just fly up really high and to jump out of, because that seemed logical to somebody. And go skydiving right afterwards, and then run around in Vegas, get drunk, go to one of the bigger strip clubs there, the Spearmint Rhino, I think it was. And I think that's about the limit of what I can talk about because of it being a true bachelor party and sworn to secrecy and things like that. Even though
we're about to tell you all the nitty-gritty details of John's.
Yeah, the bride-to-be's father and brother were there with, and so all the tomfoolery was fully sanctioned by his future in-laws.
Yes, by all members. His dad was there.
So in John's case, the same thing kind of happened where as he came, his father and his fiance's father both came, as well as one of his best friends, and then all of us that were there. And I think, was that pretty much it? Kind of what took place?
A couple of his friends, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a couple other friends kind of showed up. And so it was a small deal. And in all reality, what we were trying to do for him, well, the main piece and what we did for kind of the group was, John's biggest thing was wanting to play Cards Against Humanity, which admittedly we didn't. Now that we think about it. The one thing he had asked for, we didn't do. Now I say that, but at the same time, we had a good time. It
was a close enough game, though.
Well, exactly. I say that because we still played a game. We played the
Joking Hazard
from Cyanide and Happiness. And so if you've played that one, it's basically the same concept as Cards Against Humanity. It's just everything's in pictorial form. And so you're doing essentially the same things. You just, have pictures of what's going on and kind of set up storylines, and then still have a person decide which thing they want to choose as the funniest reaction or whatever from the story you build. So it's essentially the exact same concept. But had a good time with that. Played everybody kind of around the table, enjoying that. Had grilled out some burgers and hot dogs and things to have food in the case, some chips and dip and things. Just kind of low key and chill, but having fun. To kind of add some spice to the overall experience, we had let's see. I'm trying to decide if I want to go in order of or more activity based. I'll go with the activity based in that we picked up, probably about $300 worth of alcohol and food for this small group.
Oh yeah.
But part of that was because the alcohol piece of it, we are a silly group in this household.
We like playing.
Yes, we like the idea of alchemy and being able to kind of mixology and such, the idea that there are some really interesting drinks people have created and thus try to recreate or find them ourselves. And so we picked up a bunch of things that were based off a book that Hyde and Akko had found at a various shop that we had gone to, or they had gone to. But there's a lot of very, how would you describe the names of the
X-rated drinks?
Yeah. Yeah, drinks with some very interesting names. Some that are known, the kind of things like Sex on the Beach and such, but others that were straight up called things like Erection.
Leather and Lace.
Tied to a bedpost.
March of Glory.
All kinds of fun terms with it. And so
S&M.
We made a list of ingredients from the various recipes and went out and got them to try, because both Akko and Hyde have a good enjoyment of mixology and learning drinks and trying to come up with fun ways to consume alcohol. And so kind of gave it to them to mix drinks for everyone in the group.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things, a lot of fun. We're both pretty amateur at it, but it's kind of neat to be able to toss all these bunch of things together, and it turns into something new and fun.
It's fun playing and learning how to. We both like the science of mixology. We're just learning it.
Yes.
Currently.
So I mean, the fun part, we've had some past experiences that were a little different.
Awful.
But this one wasn't so bad, and because we're following recipes basically out the gate.
Yeah.
And even things where we taste a little bit and go like, a little different. Finding ways to kind of add to, change, or make it,
Suit to taste.
yeah. And so really having some fun with alcohol, which you should. And so that was a good time as well. So we're making drinks for everyone there, starting it with the list and then kind of going on from there, just kind of having some fun with that. So a lot of that money went into getting the ingredients for it, and just so now there's all that in the house as well. Just basically all kinds of alcohol we didn't have before, including what was the
Creme de Violeta.
yeah, the
Fun exotic ones: elderflower liquor,
elderflower is really good.
Yeah, it was.
hazelnut liquor,
Yeah,
all
just
kinds of interesting.
different kinds of flavors than what we normally see.
sounds
Copy
good.
says, I'm actually afraid of the idea of you guys drinking here at sea level. Funnily enough, I can't get drunk at sea level. I think I'll just die of alcohol poisoning without getting drunk. I went to Ohio for Colossal Con, which is like the party convention where you just drink, and I could not get drunk. I got a little tipsy by the end of Saturday night, and I had drinking almost 2 entire bottles of Fireball because my roommates were trying to get rid of them. I'm interested to see anyone else come up to Colorado.
Oh, I'm
Y'all are
constantly
cheap
looking
dates.
to bring you up here and say, come here, let's go drinking up in this end of the
Oh
world.
yeah, pun was there. Pun intentional was there. I did drink a lot.
So yeah, no, people do not respect altitude, both sides of it, because yes, I have definitely seen the results where it takes me a lot to get drunk when I go down to sea level, Dragon Con and others and places like that. Even when I was at Katsu and such, it's just kind of like, nope, not happening. But it's still good times. Yeah. So we had, like I said, had all the various alcohols. Those were a good time. We also decided to make some appropriate, because while we were being nice and clean about it, but we wanted some decorative dessert to go along with. So Hyde, what'd you do for that?
So we had a lot of fun with that because we wanted to keep it tame, but we also wanted to haze him really badly. So we ended up getting this bundt cake pan that was 2 boobs. It was just a set of boobs. And I made this beautiful cake. I frosted it myself and did all of my wonderful cake decorating things to smooth it all out with a nice cherry pink frosting. And we accentuated it with we had peach rings and full-size pink Hershey's Kisses.
You can quite imagine the shape.
Yeah.
We can share
we have any
pictures.
photos?
Oh, we have plenty of photos. They were some quite excitable boobs. I don't know how to describe this in a PG way.
They were perky.
They were very perky. They were very excited.
You should have seen the pure mad glee she had the entire time she was making it.
Oh god, they were beautiful boobs. I was like, everyone, look at my boobs. It was great. And then so we actually ended up making 2 of those.
I don't know if this would be considered X-rated in any way, since it's just a convecture. It's just cake.
Yeah, this is cake. This is definitely cake. This is not
Marked
anything.
for mature. Children avert your eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll throw that up there just to kind of give.
Yeah. So I made those. I also had made another thing in that same bundt pan, but instead of making it boobs, we made it a butt.
Of course.
And so we perfected these beautiful panties that I iced in there and this wonderful handprint. And then there was cupcakes too for everybody because I had a lot of extra batter. So that was my contribution. Also, he said no strippers, so we had got him these straws that had strippers on them.
Wow.
It was just gray straws with black silhouetted strippers that were on the stripper pole.
Yeah.
Of the straw.
The straw itself was the pole.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Pure manic glee.
Yeah.
The entire time.
There was a lot of enjoyment in the entire process of creating this and kind of getting the scene for it, because while we were trying to be good and to keep within the bounds of...
Yeah, I didn't want to overstep it. I didn't want to cross any lines, but I also really wanted to do this thing.
Yeah, so that was fun. Have a video of him receiving them and...
Right, okay, so the main objective here that I did skip by was we wanted to get him boobs so that he could stick his face in them. So the boob cake was intentionally a throwaway cake, as we didn't expect there to be anything left after initially presenting it. And then the butt cake was to be for everyone else to eat. So we have a video, of him no utensils going at it, and it's fantastic.
Yep, getting in on there. Gave us some good insight into what probably the wedding night may end up looking like. So that was fun.
Rebecca,
that was good.
You've chosen well.
Yeah. So that was a good time.
Tell him about the shirt.
Oh, yes. Also, actually, I could bring up that image.
Okay, so as you guys mostly, as most of you know, we do the Color Me Impressed fashion printing with the direct garment printer, and it's sitting on the living room or sitting on the dining room table, excuse me. So we have it here in house, and
We have lots of fun with the machine using
we can make things.
The idea that you can kind of come up with any design you want and get it printed out and put on a shirt in a very short period of time. And all of the possibilities of what you could do with that.
Incidentally, there was this harebrained idea by someone sitting over here to make a shirt. It was about 30 minutes before the party actually started.
I was madly baking and frosting.
And, let's see.
Actually, I should bring up the Photoshop version of it.
I was going to say, because I thought we had an actual photo version on.
Well, so the one that I have, the problem is it's on a black background when it comes up, so you can't see it
Transparency.
all. Yeah, transparency layers. Darn it. So as I quickly bring this up to show the real one. Oops. Yeah. So I went out and basically grabbed some versions, or what was I? Grabbed some pictures I had available, one on Facebook and then one I had myself from having taken pictures of John in the past. And so for the audience at home, we'll just throw this one on. Ken, you'll have to look at the stream when you see it. But because we're celebrating marriage and what marriage means in the sense of being, two separate people joining together in matrimony and such, I decided to celebrate that for him. So we printed a shirt with this image on it. And it is an image that is John's face on top of Rebecca's body. From a cosplay shoot she had done at some point back. And some words around just saying groomed to be so that he could wear it and celebrating two becoming one. And so I did a little bit of Photoshop trickery to put them together as one.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
So
God.
this is only about, half an hour before the party started. He had this great idea, and so we were able to throw that on really quick, and it turned out quite lovely.
It was coming out of heat press right as John walked through.
Yeah,
the
he
door.
arrived right when it was like, hey, look what we got you.
Hey, check this out.
We got you a bachelor party shirt.
We need you to take off your shirt immediately.
Yes. So that was a hit. That went over well. That was a good time. So yeah, that was fun. But in the end, we kind of took it easy. We played, like I said, I cooked food. Everyone seemed to enjoy the burgers and hot dogs and such. And
They were delicious.
I did drop off keto for this weekend for it. Probably will do so again on the actual wedding itself. And then the last piece of it is just because I felt like we needed to do something that was, I don't know, bachelor party-esque. Where while we were trying to be mostly good, I wanted to do something somewhat risque or off-putting. So I took the opportunity to administer a test to everyone in the room for to finish the evening out. And it's one that came to, gosh, this is way back in my time frame. I first learned about this in basically high school, and had been around forever. But have you ever heard of the purity test? And this is one I'm sure Earthweaver remembers.
I have not, no.
Okay, so the one I took was, I want to say, yes, it was the puritytest.net is where you can go and check it out yourself if you'd like. And there's versions of the test. Now, I believe you should just do the original one, which is 500 questions that all you have to do is answer yes or no to. And the easiest way, if you're administering it, is to just answer or just make a mark for each of the yeses. And I went through this one. It reminds me that I do believe this is the original. But they have a 200 question one and they have a 1,000 question one, which, whoa. Because even in the regular 500, and I've administered this test many times, and so I can pretty much just roll it off the tongue, as you will. And it took us still how long?
Jeez.
The exhaustion.
Well, to the point where people who were somewhat tipsy had managed
up
to
completely.
sober up some.
Yeah, that's true. It was so long that I was approaching a nice drunk, actually. I was getting there. And this test sobered me up almost entirely because it was so long. I was just like, by the end of it, I was like, I think I was drunk. Maybe I'm not now.
And so with that, I mean, it probably took over an hour.
It did.
That's for sure. And all you have to do is mark yeses on it. But this is a test that it's been around for quite some time. When I first took it, there were no online digital versions of it. It was strictly you had to just print out the list of them essentially, and it was only in text format, and then you'd read it to each other. And in doing so, when we went through it basically every question you say yes to drops your purity from 100% by 0.2% down, and it has ranges of questions that go everywhere from simple platonic relations of like how you and friends and stuff work with to relations between someone of the same or opposite gender depending on your preference, but both sides of it are asked, as well as your interaction with things like the law and legality, to drugs, to interactions with animals and non-sentient objects and all kinds of things. Yeah. So it's pretty in depth. And
Apparently, pun intended.
It's one that I kind of recommend for everyone to give a try. At least I appreciate it. Not everyone will. But in that, it was fun to see the results of people's purity around the room.
Oh my gosh. John's discoveries about his dad.
Oh, that was probably the best part, because as we're going through it, and it was kind of this thought of who would take it, how, like if they'd be, like, oh, this is no big deal, or if they'd be like, what are we doing? But everyone actually kind of got down with that one, except for I think one of the friends who participated, including both his dad and his future father-in-law. And so the best parts were going through the conversation and his own father on some of the questions just going, oh yeah, to things where there were
Oh yeah, I've totally done that.
yeah, and things like, have you had sex out of doors in this kind of area or something like that? But there was several questions that came up when he answered that. He was like, oh yeah, that's how you did it back then. And John just going like, what?
How do you think your sister was born?
That was the best. Yes. There was a question specifically like, have you ever gone to a hotel, no matter how sleazy or whatever it was, for the sole purpose of having sex? And I'm pretty sure that was the one where he said that
like,
comment.
Well, how do you think your sister?
Oh, and it was great because John was just like, ah. Oh, so that was a good bit of like lewd comedy that came along with the night. That was fun. And I do send a shout out and kind of a thanks to everyone who participated in let me do that, because that was kind of me just hijacking the overall what was going on to say, nope, this is happening now. We're done with Cyanide and Happiness's game. I want you all to answer. And I don't know if it's oddly enough, not surprising to me in the room, I guess, I scored the lowest on the test. I am the least of pure.
Zenko, on the other hand.
Yeah, Zenko was the most of pure in every possible way. So yes.
Aww.
But it was entertaining, and it was interesting too, because there were questions on the test that I think even in this audience, most people at some point went, huh? What? Wait, what is that?
Yeah.
Why is that
And
a
we're
thing?
like, John, stop asking for clarification. If you don't know what it is, you don't want to know. Wait, what is that? No, don't ask that. Don't answer that.
Too pure, don't ruin it.
Well, and having administered it more than once, I knew all of it. It was great. So that was a lot of fun. So that's mostly what we did with the bachelor party. So I think we counted it effectively as a bachelor party without it being too raucous or crazy or anything that would, I think, embarrass anyone too much. So I think we were successful, which is nice.
A little bit of mild embarrassment, a lot of good fun, alcohol. This seems pretty successful.
Yeah, so I was quite happy with that, just to be able to at least provide I think what we, succeeded on all levels of what we were trying to do for hosting a party. Now, I'll say that was awesome and fun. Now, though, that it's after and all that's coming up with the wedding is this Wednesday is the rehearsal and Thursday's wedding itself. I'm stressing a little bit because I am still having to work out the final details of the ceremony itself since I'm officiating it. And so I was given a lot of direction on the kind of things to include in the ceremony, and have not, unfortunately, finished it yet. I do have a lot of it structured, but I need to get all the words so I know exactly what I'm saying, as well as some props I need to pick up to go with it. That will be totally appropriate.
It's just not in Klingon. I mean, it could be worse.
Well, it's funny because one of the things, because it's a geek wedding, they were talking about references and quotes from things like Star Trek and others. And
nice.
When I was trying to look up some of the love kind of quotes from Star Trek, admittedly, or kind of interestingly, it seems like most of them are based on Klingon when they're talking about any actual marriage or love situations. That's the one that comes up, and I didn't think it would be quite appropriate because they didn't want me to dress in cosplay or anything to bring up like or something. Exactly, right in the middle of the thing where people are like, what? Oh, this is the loveliest of quotes in Klingon, right? And so I'm still going to try to figure out a bunch of it, but that's not one that I got pieces, there's references from Doctor Who, from some music they like and things like that. And so there's some stuff going on. And I don't know what that face is over there.
I got a new record in the game I was playing, and it just gave me an error saying my session was no longer valid and booted me out.
Oh.
I was like 1,000 points higher than I've ever been.
Oh.
I will need a minute.
That's I was wondering what that face was.
Oh, that hurts.
And
She's about to cry.
And this is why we don't play games during the show.
It's true.
Pain.
Tell that to my Hearthstone.
No, that hurts.
Really
That's
are.
unfortunate.
It hurts a lot.
Hopefully it captured it before it all died. Because
Let me check.
anyhow,
Oh my god, I've never seen her so sad. She looks like she's actually crying.
It's true.
Are you weeping, Hyde?
Just a little. Just a little.
oh, that's great.
I think this is more hysterical because it didn't save it.
Any gamer can relate. God dang that error or reset
Oh my god. Just pop up. Your session is no longer valid. Why?
Yes. Anyhow, so let's see.
That's all right, Matt.
Other than that, things that have been geeky this week. We finally pulled the trigger for those who are following along for getting our trip set up to go to Anime North.
Yeah.
So the entire group, about a month from now, will be heading up to Toronto to see the original copy and to be a part of this large cosplay group that we're doing for Tales of Zestiria. Now, with that in mind, I was going to mention, although Zenko is not here to show it off, so I won't go into detail.
I can grab
We can go
Phoenix.
grab them.
I was just going to show off Phoenix, essentially.
I can grab it.
So, yeah, I'll let Akko go run and grab Phoenix. But in a 20-ish hour session, 25 hours now have been labeled as the official. Well, they're tracking every step of the way of what kind of level of effort and work
Yeah, so-
that Zenko's doing for all the costumes.
She has this app where she actually clocks in as though she's at work. So
Nice.
clocks in to exactly track how much work she's putting in each individual costume, and then has the total of how much time it's taken in actuality. So she can actually track it really well. And
That's pretty interesting.
Well, and she did something interesting for this one for the group, where most of what she's been creating have been the actual cosplay pieces, the costumes themselves, with some accessories to be like a parasol and things like the boots and different things that you have to do to kind of fill out the actual costume itself. Well, this was one she worked on that is a complete accessory based on a very specific scene that it's like a group shot essentially, right?
Well,
or is
the character, it is an accessory. It's a permanent accessory to the character. It attaches to the umbrella, so it
Okay.
is important part
Okay.
of the character.
Gotcha. So in doing so, to finish off the umbrella, made Phoenix, which is
It's called a Norman?
a Norman, but it is a living creature essentially, right, in the world. And so what she did is she created Phoenix completely from scratch
from a sock.
and created a form of Phoenix over the sock. Or with the sock itself, kind of
And
pinching out the whole
batting.
shape of it, batting and kind of building it up, and then
Turned it around.
proceeded to actually clothe it and skin it with fabrics,
Yeah.
hand sewing every single piece of it.
There is no piece of that is machine sewn.
And so this one took, like I said, 25 hours.
Ish, I think.
With some nice little materials to do this from scratch. Hey, we need this guy because he's going to be hanging by basically a rope or such, some kind of little strand onto the parasol, onto the umbrella. And so he's sitting there hanging off and just is adorable as all get out. And the worst part, because there's some great progress scenes of it where she's working on where she pins the heck out of everything in the
Yeah.
processing. And so there are parts where this looked like a voodoo doll, and whoever was on the receiving end was going to have the worst possible days in like sight or headaches or you name it, because like the eyes were completely pinned in with multiple pins before it then got sewn down. And same thing with the hairline for the hat was all like pinned down all the way. So it's just a pincushion kind of look, but it was absolutely wonderful. And if you look it up, and I don't know if someone wants to grab a link to or something, a picture of the Newman Phoenix, you'll see just how good this really is. It's so cute.
Yeah, because this is kind of the level of detail that she likes to do, and she was able to do some live streaming for the first time just at the very start, getting started on the character. So she started dipping her toe into live streaming, and now it's complete.
Very nice.
To his Tales of Wiki.
Nice. So the link therein for the Wikipedia for Tales of Zestiria and all, and you'll be able to see it itself. So check that out. And then, let's see. What? Tales of Link Rip. I don't know what that one is, copy. So we got our planes booked. We still have to, I think, buy our passes for Anime North, but I think that's the least concern compared to the rest of it. Because there was this whole crusade of trying to find 6 tickets to fly up to Toronto from Denver. And especially because I know in the previous years I've gone, prices have jumped all around. And when I first started looking at the flights we normally would take from Thursday to Monday, they were starting at the range of like $850 a person, which is not insane, but it's just flying up to Canada, which is like, come on. And so we were very fortunate in the last couple days as we were looking back and forth that we were able to get it down where I think I found it in the end for just under $530 a person.
Yeah.
We had to do some layovers and stuff, but not terrible. It took us where normally our direct flights would be about 3.5 hours down to now it's a little longer, having to fly back and forth about 6.5 hours, but saving about $300 a person, which will basically cover the actual cost of the convention itself. And so that was nice. And so we pulled the trigger, got our tickets, and we're ready to go up to Anime North. Can't wait. Should be terribly exciting. Beyond that, I think that was the main things I had that weren't geeky this week. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to get into or think of that was going on?
Not geeky. It was mostly a geeky week.
Oh, and that's kind of the thing. So,
Was it? What did I do this week?
well, as well as just always being busy with stuff. So beyond that, we will then transition
Playing a lot of Everwing.
over to.
I'm a geek. Are you a geek? Geek cred level up.
So as we get into our geek cred section today, Ken, what have you been doing that has been geeky?
Sorry, I'm trying to pop pills here live on air. I've got a bit of a headache developing, annoying me. It's because I've been kind of sick all weekend. Like I've got this, like, I don't know, like a cold developing, but it's not quite there, and it comes in like it feels like a headache's coming on sometimes, and I sneeze a couple times, but then I'm fine otherwise. It's just annoying.
That would be quite.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's not like I'm not actually even ill yet. Like, just make me ill or not. I don't like this middle zone. I would just like to know what's up, you know? It's like when you go out and it's like kind of raining. It's like just a little bit, and you're like, are you gonna rain or not? I need to know. Tell me.
Gotcha.
Let me know.
Like, damn it.
It's the uncertainty. Right, so Geek Cred, yes. I only have 2 things I really want to mention that's really worth mentioning.
Okay.
First of all, I have now finished Lost in Space Season 1.
Okay, cool. How is that? Because I've been actually hearing some fairly decent chatter about it.
So I've read some mixed reviews elsewhere from other people and the likes, and some people are saying it's a bit generic, and some people are saying it doesn't really stick to the original sort of story and stuff. And I'm not looking at it from that perspective whatsoever. I never saw the original, so I don't really care. But yeah, there's some parts of it that are a bit gimmicky. However, the vast majority of it's really good. Like, it feels I wouldn't say it feels like Stranger Things, but it feels like I'm enjoying it as much as Stranger Things.
Okay, so it's more just the quality of it for you is that good.
Yeah, which is really strange for me to say because I really enjoy Stranger Things.
Oh, Stranger Things is amazing. I think we all love that.
Absolutely.
So, if you like good TV and if you like sci-fi, check out. It's just really good. It's really worth it. It's worth your time. Especially watch it on a nice TV because it's very
pretty. Ooh,
it's very pretty.
Well, see, I hear things like that, and those are things that make me want to experience it on the OLED TV I have, where it's like, hey, this will only get better.
Yes, it is absolutely worth it. I highly recommend it. Please watch it. So as well as finishing that, I don't want to give any spoilers or anything. Maybe in a few weeks I'll talk about what I thought of the actual storyline and such. But for now, we're just gonna leave it as is.
Okay.
I've been watching more Star Trek Voyager, and yeah, I'm still enjoying it so far. I think I'm only like 10 episodes in or something like that.
Nice.
I was expecting to. I can't remember. Was it yourself, Wayne, who was saying that you don't think I'm going to enjoy it?
Well, no, I was just, for me, Voyager was always a challenge for me. I never connected with Janeway and such, and so it just for me, it never was something I enjoyed. Where I know a lot of people who liked it. Now, it always seemed to me most people who enjoyed it seemed to do for kind of some of the other characters, the rest of the crew, less so the captain. And that was a challenge for me because so many of the other Star Treks and stuff I've enjoyed, I'd say it was primarily due to whoever the captain was. That, you know, Captain Kirk, Captain, I was going to say, well, not captain, but on DS9. Oh, how was it? Because it wasn't a captain of the actual station, but the one in charge of everything. But I really liked those characters. And so, you know, Picard was great and all that and such, and even in like Enterprise and stuff, some of them I liked where they were going with it. And Janeway, just for me, it was never one I connected with. As well as I didn't like the whole concept of them being across the universe and having to, you know, make their way back through from whatever outer reaches they were in, kind of thing. That just seemed odd to me. So that was my reasonings.
Well, so far, I really like the idea of Voyager because, well, I saw Stargate Universe before I saw Star Trek Voyager. And I love that concept of being stuck in the middle of nowhere. The problem with the Star Trek universe is that there's just so many races. Every single galaxy is packed full of different peoples. That it's not really like we're going to struggle to find water and barely survive. It's more of we've got a long journey ahead of us, but we'll meet thousands of people along the way. And that's just a little. I don't enjoy that as much as the Stargate Universe side of things. Okay. But I still enjoy it. It's still like unknown territory, and they're out of their safe zone, and that's fun.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I've been watching that, and that's everything on my end.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's see then. We can switch over on our end because the one that I wanted to bring up primarily was we had watched. We have been doing the Anime Crunch again.
Yes.
You hear us as a group talk about anime a lot because it's kind of one of the things that we all share in common.
I made a whiteboard.
Yeah. There's because we have various different anime that we're watching as groups because we kind of have separations of where people have time together and such. So there's certain animes that we're trying to make sure we watch all as one group together, sharing some of our favorites and things like that. We recently had finished up all of Cowboy Bebop, one of my favorites of all time. Prior to that, what were we watching together? It was... We've got some others that are still in the works that we need to finish, like Silver Spoons that we brought up.
Yeah, Silver Spoon, Rakugo.
A couple others that were in there. Some that we need to start. We need to all get back together on seasons for Shokugeki and a couple of the other ones that we've seen.
We have to hit the other. So the other on the favorite tour is probably going to be Zenko's, which is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Because I finished catching up with the FMA original for working on Scar.
She hasn't seen that.
I haven't seen Brotherhood.
So that way we can all watch Brotherhood together. I've only seen
the original.
Which is going to be great, though, because that way we can kind of see all the differences together. So right now, what we're currently going through is one of Akko's favorites, or Akko's absolute favorite of all time, which is Code Geass. And with that, I would love if, Akko, you gave a little bit of synopsis in general of what it's about, or the kind of look feel of what Code Geass is.
So it's tough to encapsulate it in one. It's definitely a tragic drama series. And those two can attest to it. There's a lot of really great stuff. It's got a little bit of mecha elements, so giant robot type stuff, but that's not really the main focus. It's maybe a little bit more of a psychological drama, and
a bit of a psychological trauma.
Okay, so I'll rephrase it in Hyde speak. It's
not a psychological trauma.
Lot of
it's a psychological trauma.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that.
Oh my gosh, they do it so well.
So
it's amazing.
It's a great show. There's lots of really smart things in it, and one of it involves this special power called the Geass, which is I'm not sure how familiar it's. Basically, it's kind of like a curse in, I believe it's either Irish or Welsh lore.
Okay.
It's basically an absolute command. And so this character has the power to command others to do things. And that, I think we can
absolute,
just kind of leave it there.
Well, and so the world is taking place in this timeline now is actually today, but
alternate world.
Yeah, from when it was made, it's got that somewhat futuristic feel to it with mecha and things like that. And the world that you exist in is a world of politics where the Kingdom of Britannia, which
United States.
is essentially United States, but has a European English feel to it. But the landmass and kind of where they show in the world is definitely the United States, North America, South America kind of thing. But essentially, there have been due to wars and the way things have changed. There's three major powers in the world, which is Britannia,
Chinese
China,
Federation, and the EU.
And the EU are like the three main forces in the world after this. And where this is all taking place is in Japan. But in this case, Japan in the past had suffered through a major defeat at the hands of Britannia and had been reduced now to being Section 11,
Area 11.
Or Area 11, where the Britannia's overall kingdom is set up in various sections throughout the
different conquered areas, a little bit like the good old colonial days.
Yeah, and so in that you're living through and seeing an experience of those who have been defeated, the Japanese, who now are not even allowed to claim their original heritage of being Japanese. They are called 11s as being part of Zone or Section 11, and so it gets into this whole discussion of kind of like what it is to be a conquered people and to want to find a better life in that, because in that being reduced to 11s, and the Japanese are essentially a less than second class citizen, and in fact part of the mechanism some of them do is if they are good enough to the Britannian standards, they can sometimes become honorary Britannians, which means they essentially get full citizen rights, but always having been of Japanese descent.
So more second class citizens than third class citizens.
Yeah, the rest of them, which are third, fourth class citizens, which is just terrible.
So it's a bit of an interesting commentary. A lot of really smart stuff going on. Some politics thrown in there, but not in a heavy-handed, over-the-top way. It's more of a really accessible way for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it focuses, like a lot of anime, where the main characters primarily are students, in this case high school students, where it takes place around. And the main character, Lelouch, is one who is a Britannian of descent, but is at a school that caters to everyone essentially, and has
it's like a commoner school
essentially. But at the same time, it's a very nice school, but it has Japanese as well as Britannian all kind of interdispersed through the school. And it exists in Section 11 or Zone 11, and it gets into kind of the whole feeling of an uprising or trying to get beyond that station in life of being a third-class citizen and to kind of revolt and want to bring back the nationalism of being Japanese. Mm-hmm. And so it gets into where a lot of it's a very heavy political one, at least. And so the way I wanted to capture kind of what it was in general, because I mean this is an old anime. It first came out when?
So, and by old, it's hard to, man. So basically, I think it was 06, I think, is when it finished airing.
Came out, or kind of first happened. So here, let's see.
Anime News Network's a little better for that.
Okay.
If you want to look it up.
Yeah, I have to look for the actual history of it.
I believe it is 06 is when it finished airing, the first season, and then the second started airing in 08.
And so it's over a decade old. But it is, and but it's also considered like just a great anime. I mean, I think universally, the animation's really good, the character design's phenomenal, and kind of the way it just looks and feels is very unique, which is wonderful. And it has so much depth to it. And this is one where, is this one that you said manga was?
It was a first to anime. So a lot of anime start off life as either like a short novel or a manga series. Usually you start off novel, manga, anime, but in this case it was straight to anime. So very risky, but they have a lot of freedom to do whatever they wanted when they were first making it. It was a kind of an interesting proposition. I think it was pulled off pretty spectacularly. It was Studio Sunrise, so if anyone's familiar with the Gundam series, same studio.
And so you'll get a lot of that look and feel with some of the anime and characters kind of do, although the characters in this one are definitely like the long, tall, lean.
Okay, Studio Clamp. Studio Clamp is known for the very long, lanky style, but it's not over the top like they normally do, though.
Well, and this is one of those ones that, for your sake, Ken, it's an anime that's not running into any of the kind of anime tropes that you would normally not care for. So it has none. It has none of the over-the-top animation of characters. It doesn't have the rivers of tear kind of effects that you don't like. It doesn't even have any of the chibi effects where suddenly they change form to look too cute or something like that.
That's it. Try the first episode. See what you think.
It is a very direct, honest representation of characters and what's happening, and it's from a very serious area.
The first episode will tell you the exact tone of what is to come by the end.
Yeah. This is one
I don't know how much Wayne has told you guys about my
distaste.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I don't know how much Wayne has told you guys about my distaste of anime in general. While I hate to be the kind of person that dislikes an entire genre, I have yet, over many years of many attempts of trying to find anything that not only that I can like, but can actually watch without shivering with disgust. I really, really can't stand anime.
That's fair.
I'm not against people who watch it. People can go and enjoy it. That's fine. I'm just saying for me personally, and there's just something, I don't know, there's just something about it that just doesn't click with me and I can't enjoy. It's a mix of tropes. It's a mix of, I don't know.
Well, and that's why
it is a different culture style, I will admit.
And it's why, Ken, I do bring up specifically how this one doesn't have, from what I understand of your like and dislike of anime in general, most of the things that you categorize as things you dislike. And this one has truly one of the beautiful things of it, no throwaway characters. This is one where everyone's important, and every action that takes place is important.
So you know that
It depends on who certain characters think are disposable.
I said throwaway, not disposable.
difference.
Yeah, people die in this series.
So much.
Tom Bad Guy in the IRC says, "Don't listen, Ken, it's a trap." And Copy says this.
What? What? No, this one is not. This one is so just good. And it's one that the first season, one of the things I want to talk about as a whole without the kind of spoiler aspect of it, is that in the first season, you are led through some roller coaster things. And the way that Zenko and Akko have described it to us, and it does pull through, is there's a bit of a roller coaster where they give you episodes that really build up to something and often have a very dramatic or traumatic type of experience to it. And then afterwards, they give you time to kind of soak in and let you understand it by the next couple episodes being a little less intense, but just enough so to kind of build it back up to do it again.
So they're really good at managing the roller coaster of emotion there for more emotional sorts.
It's me.
Basically, they managed to do it unlike the other series that we've seen in general, including, westernized series, where they just like to do the haha, we'll kill everybody factor. Guess who's going to die this week? No, it's not like that. Because what they do is they don't do it for shock value. There's very important elements of what happens, but also they know how to manage the audience very well so that it doesn't short you out. It's more like, oh, cool, that guy died. Great. I wonder who's going to die next week. But it's
no Game of Thrones.
I was hinting at that. In the way that they manage to short people out, instead, Code Geass, they manage the storytelling so that no, everyone doesn't die for just no reason. If someone dies, there's a particular reason and a long lead up that you could probably see coming if you paid attention.
Probably could have prevented.
Yeah.
And they do really get into some great stuff where there are some deep scenes where if you understand the characters and you're following along, when they hit you with some stuff, it's deep. You're just like, what? This is pain right here in the cockles of my heart. What is going on? But what's really fun about it and what's interesting is the whole first season, which is 26?
Yes.
26 episodes, so kind of the 2-season length or a full...
2 core.
Yeah. Say it again, core? Okay.
It's a 2 run, so basically 2 sets of 12 episodes, so like 13.
Yeah, and so full length in that sense, and it really builds out well. Every one of the episodes matches in. There aren't filler episodes or anything like that. It all builds up, and when it hits the climax of it, it's... as was kind of being described, it probably fits up there as to one of the famous endings of an anime series where you're left like, WTF... What? I can't be satisfied with that ending. There's too much you left in that scene that I can only assume what happened based off what little bit you showed me. But it's at such a climax, and it goes through relationships between characters, both romantically and just like friendship relationships, and how they build and change because of the politics they're all involved in, their backgrounds and their motivations. It's so good.
Psychological drama.
And so we took some time getting through the first season of it. We had a couple binge nights after, finding time and stuff together again to knock through it. And it led us up to that final one. How many episodes did we watch to finish it out?
I think we binged
no, that's 10.
Just at the first
to finish
season.
it out.
To finish out the first
about
season.
10.
About 10 in a row. So to just knock out that first season. And so the problem is, I will warn people, if you get up to about episode 20, you're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
Because you gotta finish it. And then when you finish it, you're going to be like, what?
And then you hit the next season.
And what's beautiful about the next season, just as a tease into it, is that they realize for their audience, and this is so the opposite of so many movies and things I keep bitching about that have been coming out, they actually really, really give credit to their audience in that they assume and expect that you had to have watched season 1 before you would ever check out 2. You have to have. There's no coddling you in.
Yeah, there's no.
And the difference is where in season 1 they did some build up as to when they were going to hurt you. They give you a taste in the first episode, but they continue into kind of they build a character up and then things are like and stuff like that. This one comes out of the gate just like
swinging.
Just go. Just go.
Because
and we're back.
It started at 10 and ramped up from there.
Yeah, season 2 just kicked off and it's been 2 years. We're back. Let's go.
Yeah, and so what's nice about it is it starts you at 10 and just keeps going. And so once you're in that, and it's really just that first episode again coming back that you're kind of like, wait, what's going on? And then when you finish, you're like, yep, this is Code Geass. We're right back in it. Woo!
Because they have a little bit of the harmony there, basically kind of harmonizing with what happened, in the first. But that's all you needed to know. You're like, oh, got it, reset. This is where we are.
This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Right. It just gives you brief recap. Here's where we're at, kind of.
Yeah. Yep.
In case you've forgotten the last 2 years that we haven't done anything or said anything to you, here's what's going on.
Now suffer.
Yeah, here, have some trauma, have some pain. Enjoy.
And so we're back into it, and we started, and it was one of those things that I don't think we really even rested after season 1.
We kicked,
there
was a one-night break.
Yeah, there was one break just to all right.
15 episodes later.
And yeah, we jumped right into the second. And is that how far we're into the second?
I think we're about 15 in. So about halfway.
So they're all 24-minute episodes as your traditional kind of anime length. But man, they're ones that feel like they're long because there's so much content in each episode. This is one of those ones, again, no filler. In fact, the only episode that almost was filler, which was, because admittedly, I will give a caveat to the second season in that
a little more fan service.
There is a little more fan service in the second season. There does feel like whoever was directing.
There was that nice zoom in on C2's butt.
Constant, where it's like, for some reason, they find a lot of angles to show just short of the upskirt on several of the characters, which you don't get in the first season. Well, that's the thing.
No, it's not even over the top.
It's not nearly. It's
hey,
not
but
nice.
if that bothers you, come on, Game of Thrones, really?
Right.
Come on.
Straight up sex with a dwarf in the middle of every scene. But so it goes to like.
I know you don't watch that. What scenes have you sought out?
That's the first episode. Tyrion is shown to be nothing but a whoring Lannister.
God,
in the
it's
first
been a long
episode of
time.
Game of Thrones. Multiple
I need to rewatch
times.
that actually.
So yes, that's what I'm referencing.
Episode 1.
That I've seen like twice, and I've made it to like episode 6 once, and that was
proud
done.
of you.
But yeah, it's in a different way in that it's just a change up from the first season. The first season you don't really get that, and there's maybe a scene or two where characters look a little cuter or whatever. This one, there's a few scenes where it's a little more obvious that they're drawn with kind of a pose, or they just chose to do an angle where it's like, oh, look at her laying out on the couch, and now they're looking from behind her up at the main character. So there's a little bit of that, but that's really the only major difference is they add a little bit of fan service, but it's not over the top. Of course, it's no High School of the Dead.
If you think about it, though, there's really not too many rest points in this show.
No.
So there's no real. I mean, they're just ramping you up. It's you're only halfway.
Yeah. And I am saying this in the chat, but I'll say it to everyone as well. Yes, if your feedback on Nightbot is that it's a little too aggressive right now, I can adjust that. I just kind of set up the chatbot bot with the default settings. And so if you're getting kicked out or banned or warned too soon, let me know and I will adjust it. I just have not looked back into it as I've been revamping to automate and do some of the Twitch things and stuff like that so that we can now be truly active on Twitch. And if people, if they follow us, reshare us, any of the different things on Twitch, you'll now get the little alerts and things on there. So all of that's going on. And so, yeah.
As funny as it is to watch people get kicked, etc., to be honest, we don't really need anybody. We've got, 11 people watching live on Twitch right now?
Yeah.
12. And we kind of trust our community. Like maybe if we start getting like a huge bluster of people come in, then we can kind of like turn on some more worrisome spam settings. But
yeah, it was more just to set up a basic one of like being able to call out people and do things if they wanted to see what music was being played, stuff like that. So I'm still working on it. Those are just the initial get it in there. Then now I can adjust it to make it better. But.
Earth says Nightbot needs the brother mode, so I can do whatever I want to.
So we have made some people admins in the channel, mods and such, but
It's me.
yes. So both Copy and Hyde have been given mod access and such, and Ken. So we have some of that, but we'll, like I said, we'll continue to work at, and I'm happy to receive your feedback on how the show's going. Just email us at showx@vtwproduction.com, and we can play with those settings and make this better. But with that, I think it's time for us to take a break. So we've gone past that first hour, and we want to give people chances to refresh your drinks, take a moment to breathe, as well as to listen to some great music. And so we're going to be playing a clip. What did I grab here? I think I grabbed one of our friend Brad Sucks ones. So we're going to play Brad Sucks song during the break, and we'll be back right after this. So you're listening to ShowX on vtwproductions.com. And I'm going to set up so you only hear the music here and do this. Still figuring out some of the new audio cables and things like that, but so far it's sounding good. I think it's looking good. All right, so with that, you're listening to ShowX, and we'll be right back.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com.
Explain the changes in my patience lately. Alright, is it so hard to fake it? Is it so hard to fake it? Is it so hard to take wrong advice? Is it so hard? Ooh, and I got something that you can't treat. Modern science says it can't be. And every morning when I can't sleep, oh, I'll be yelling that I can't breathe, and I wonder why. I can't explain the changes in my patience lately, or decide. I can't explain the changes in my patience lately. Alright, is it so hard to fake it? Is it so hard to fake it? Is it so hard to take wrong advice? Is it so hard? that I can play. Oh yes, I'm so big.
You're listening to Show X on BTWProductions.com.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Yes.
I'm
So
noticing your Pokeball jammies.
they are wonderful and comfy. I have all of the geek jammies. I need more. So, what was I going to say? So, yes, last final word on this. I highly recommend checking out Code Geass. We have not finished it, but so far it's been an amazing ride. And I will say, second season, I've enjoyed even more than first. The animation style has improved. The level of depth and intrigue in the politics has gone off the charts. And it's just been a heck of a ride. So I am looking forward to continuing our exploration of Code Geass as we have time, because it has been phenomenal fun.
Absolutely.
All right, so beyond this, email coming in talking about Geek Cred. This one coming to us from our friend Cupcheck. And so wanted to read this as I got a moment here. It says, howdy. All right. Long time no talk to and catching up to speed for my nerd cred. So I took to the internet to send info for commission to get emotes done, as I've been a Twitch affiliate since December 25th.
Ooh,
yes,
nice.
It was a hell of a gift. When I didn't get a response, I got desperate and submitted one to Twitch without a single thought of it getting accepted. 2 weeks later, while I was at work, I hopped into Discord seeing that my emote was accepted. What is my emote, you ask? My face! Yes, I'm so egotistical. My face is now a Twitch emote, which if you look in the Twitch chat, you can see Happy Dude doing right now. Speaking of which, speaking of work,
That's so fantastic.
I've been valuing my life from a different view, as my mental health has been more on my mind to be just as equal as my physical health. And with this in mind, I have landed another gig, and when a GameStop store manager tells me, quote, "You look unhappy here, put in an application," you listen. We all just waiting to figure out which store they're going to put me in, but I officially put in my 2 weeks tomorrow. And yes, I am going to commission a Android 16 cosplay. More to come in the future. Ooh. That from Cupcheck. I like how following up in the Twitch chat from Happy Dude Cupcheck saying showing his face as his emote, that Tom Bad Guy, also an affiliate, puts in 3 of his emotes that are all the animated version of Tom that I believe he made himself. Different faces of his as a response. And it is something that, yes, Tom, we'll have to talk to you about the whole affiliate thing and seeing how we as a show can become such and have Show X emotes and how wonderful that could be. And so, yes. But anyhow, continuing, I think, was there anything else we want to talk about Geek? Because
I actually had one more thing that I'd forgotten to mention earlier.
Okay.
So I forgot that I've been playing on PlayStation. I've stopped playing Fortnite so much because I still enjoy it and everything. It's just that I don't know. I'm just running a bit dry. The fact that I'm absolutely crap at it and don't enjoy being terrible. To be quite honest. So I've just been kind of avoiding it, to be honest. So I started playing Shadow of War again. And I've now completed the main storyline and several of the side quests to completion. I've got the DLC sitting there waiting for me, the Blade of Galadriel or Light of Galadriel, whatever it's called. So I've yet to do that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's a good game, and
very nice.
Yeah, I recommend.
Very nice. That just reminds me how, because at Hyde's request, she demanded to watch a playthrough of Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. So I recently finished Final Fantasy X.
Play the game and work on the cosplay at the same time, but I want to do both.
So the compromise was she forced me to playthrough.
I forced him to play it while I sat on the floor of the living room with my sewing machine watching.
And it's good because I already own the remastered version, because 10 is my favorite Final Fantasy. It was also the first one that I started in on. So that was a lot of fun. Really interesting to see the story after so many years. Just as good as I remembered it. And then now starting in on Final Fantasy X-2, widely regarded to be something of a abomination, and
it's one that I haven't been able to get through, and I tried it like 4 or 5 times, and I've made it about 15 minutes in total.
But we're doing the playthrough, and Hyde does agree that the story is very lackluster. The battle system's cool.
Disappointing.
I like it. I've always liked the battle system of it, but the story is It's all right if you think of it not as a sequel, just a random
Yeah.
standalone throwaway.
That's true. Okay, so by itself, it's a cool game. There's a nifty battle system. I like how it, like, I like the combat. I like what they do. But coming off of such a heavy, story-intense prequel, it's like they just took the same character models and watered down all of the relationships, like any sort of relationship between any character, and then added in some other ones with no explanation, and then a different story entirely.
Wow.
In almost the same world. Same
much.
Same physical world, but everything is.
Different.
It takes place like 4 years in the future, and
Probably, maybe
probably,
more.
yeah.
I don't know.
Because there's a 2-year gap between 10 and 10-2 in game, and then like 10 minutes into the game, 2 more years pass, and then we don't know, and it's weird.
Well, so in this, I'll be.
But it's good. It's fun. It's like a good play. But I loved the storyline of 10, and they really didn't do that at all for 10-2.
Gotcha. Well, and I was wondering because I know that
sad.
when I started playing 10-2, it never got me. It never captured my interest to the point. Like the intro sequence was a concert. It was interesting and pretty in a way, but then getting into the actual game, I just didn't care, and it never drew me back. And so I had it sitting there for the longest time where it would have been a focus that I think I would have played, but it just never drew me. I never felt a reason to play it, and so I was just kind of always stuck. And we had talked, Akko and I had talked a little bit, just like briefly, about how for you, Final Fantasy X was your first introduction to the Final Fantasy series. And I draw to this because I'm seeing people in the chat talk about what their favorite Final Fantasies were.
I can't see it. It's too far from me.
And little things are, what was it? Tom Bad Guy said he loved 10 as well. But I think is saying that 6 is probably his biggest things, which you said you haven't played 6.
So I have done. So 10 was my first. Went back and played first, second, third.
Bye, Earthweaver.
Did 7th, 8th, 4th, 5th. Didn't play 6th. Didn't play 9th. My brother played 9. Played 12. 13, not the progeny of 13, and 15.
Gotcha. Which you have played far more Final Fantasies than I have. For
I
me,
love the series.
I started on 7 like a lot because I got it with my PlayStation. So when I first picked up my PlayStation, original PlayStation 1 was when I was barely into the military, didn't know much of anybody, had just moved to Denver, and was just starting the job here. And so I picked that up, and I picked up Tekken, and those were like the 2 games I owned. And so when I had free time, that's all I played. And so I crushed through Final Fantasy VII and loved the heck out of it. It was my first Final Fantasy. And then I played through 8, 9, 10, and started to try 10-2 and just couldn't. And that was the last time I touched a Final Fantasy. Because I think I got such a distaste from 10-2 that it stopped my progression to try to go either backwards or to skip over and go forward. And so I haven't really touched anything since. I got hold of, what was it, 12, I think? Whichever the one that has
12.
the character that everyone wants me to...
MMO-ish.
Not the M. It might be 13. Whichever one.
13's got Saz
that's
with the
it.
hair.
13, the one that everyone wants me to cosplay as. And so I got 13, and I started, maybe played 20, 30 minutes of it, but that's about all I touched because I've still got other things I've been playing.
I wasn't impressed.
But there's a part of me that wants to get back to Final Fantasy, right? It wants me to hope and enjoy it. And I probably was going to jump on 15, except that it crashed. The demo of it crashed on my computer every time I loaded it.
Oh my
I own
gosh,
it
yeah,
for
no,
the PlayStation.
We've had this discussion. It's the same song and
the problem
dances
is
before.
I'm not going to buy a PlayStation 4.
I own one.
I know.
And apparently it may or may not be in this very house.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's still a level of like where I sit and where I would end up being would be here in most cases.
I'm not
And
using
so-
it for the most part. I'm doing playthroughs
Yeah.
on the PS3.
But it just gets me that it's like, oh, weird.
Nightbot, what the heck?
And so I'm just, I'm kind of like, I don't know whether I'll play it or not, because again, I have so many other things I need to play anyways. Still trying to get through Majora's Mask, and I kind of did a quick look to see how far into it I am, and I was discouraged.
It is.
What would be really fun is if you got Fortnite.
I do have Fortnite, and it's something.
Nightbot is
If
getting
you
a
go
little
on
ridiculous.
PlayStation, I mean.
Heads up.
Is Nightbot really being that bad?
It's banning people and deleting things.
What? Bad Nightbot. I will have to
Shame
fix
on
you.
you.
Oh,
gonna
stop
say,
being bad like that.
12 almost did that for me though. Final Fantasy 12.
Almost
God,
knocked you
that
out?
was boring because I hate MMOs. I've done a couple of them, and I could just never get into them. And 12 is very MMO-y, even though it's not. And it just, ugh. The battle system was just dull. Well, basically, it's on. You set algorithms, certain conditions for your AI party to react. So if you set up the conditions properly, you won't lose.
Ha.
You just so what I would do
You
is
don't
I'd turn
actually
the
have to
channel.
play?
No, I'd turn the channel. I really would. Like, okay, it's a boss battle. Okay, let's see what's on. Just check back, see if anything actually needs control. But okay. Come back.
That sucks.
Well, you set the algorithms right. Heal when certain, below 30, what is it? Below 50, heal this, this spell. Below 50, use this spell. If someone dies, use this spell or use an item or.
You're totally right. I mean, most games can be automated in that sense if you actually just set like preconditions.
Well, that's part of the game.
In a way, in your mind,
It's true, but that's part of the game because you'd set conditions. There would be
'cause I remember there was that
behavior
aspect.
conditions. So you'd set those things. Oh. I was seeing little. Wasn't.
What's that?
What do you want?
No, I was looking at the chat, doing weird stuff.
I'm trying to fix Nightbot on the fly, so I don't know if that's what's doing it or not. I'm adjusting some of the things to try to keep it from being too
Quite a jerk.
aggressive. Yeah.
No, I was just saying that it's those conditions and triggers are part of the battle system. Like you have to set character behaviors because you can't really directly control your party. So they're AIs where you set their behavior based on certain conditions and triggers. They're basically logical functions. And if you put it right, you don't really need to play the battles.
Which for me is like, what's the fun of that? If I
Yeah.
want to do that, I'll just watch the story on YouTube.
I'm sorry, how many
Yeah.
clicker games have you played in your time, Mr. Wayne? How many thousands of hours have you got logged in those that have been, even if you're not in front of you, that you've had running?
Okay, so the clicker games, that was a phase, a moment.
Cookie clicker?
Well,
There was a moment there. I think what were we all playing? Clicker Critters
Clicker
or whatever?
Heroes.
Clicker Heroes. That we all played for a minute. And I haven't loaded
A minute.
and haven't touched for how long now?
I'm going to check your Steam profile since you refused to answer my question. by the way.
well.
So hey, having it run versus actually playing it, two different things.
That's what I said. How long
Well,
does it run for?
but clicker games are also ones that are you just can leave up and you get, credit for just having it active versus actually playing the game. It's
So your
one of the
highest
mechanics of
game
it,
with
yeah.
playtime on record. Your third highest is Starbound with 200 hours. Then Call of Duty with 233. Then Clicker Heroes with 2,141 hours.
So when you go away on a trip for work and just leave it running because you get points for it, it's like, just leave it run. And just have it in the background whenever you're doing anything else. That's how you get those hours. As you mentioned this nonsense, and now there's clicking in the background, is now someone on the other side of there is playing Cookie Clicker. Do not play clicker games. They're terrible.
Have you ever played Trimps.io? Fantastic browser-based one. It's really fun.
If it's a clicker game, no. Stop it.
It's
all
really
I
quite
hear
fun.
is
I do
clicking
recommend
coming through. Stop it. Yes, you.
All around.
Moves Mike to be able to allow to be still clicking in the game. Gonna turn camera onto your screen just so people can see what you do.
The distractible sort.
so
Very
bad.
distractible.
But yeah, no, it's something that
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not playing 3 games at all right now.
yeah, well, and
Darn millennials.
so the thing is, like, I saw enough love about Final Fantasy 15 that I kind of want to check it out still. And I was just disappointed because it looked beautiful on my PC. It really did. It was playing great. It just kept crashing, and so I was like, well, screw that. And yes, Copy does put in there that she has some 5,000 hours in Phantasy Star Online.
Good.
Okay, Phantasy Star. Yeah, but
Well,
yeah,
she
but that's
played it since it's come out and still plays it constantly.
Yeah, the longest game I'd played was actually Star Ocean Till the End of Time.
Okay.
I loved that game. And another one I spent a truckload of time on that I can't seem to find. It was a PlayStation 2 game called Radiata Stories.
Don't know that one.
Very sarcastic, very irreverent. A lot of fun. It's another JRPG. It's a lot of fun stuff. 15 is an interesting one. It's a little bit of a blend between Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. A little bit more active battle system. Story is basically Bachelor Party gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea of just like
very
a road trip.
very wrong. But the DLC pissed me off, so I haven't bought the DLC.
Gotcha. It's so hard because there's so many and well, so like for me, as we're talking about gaming in general, because I'm looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII remake. I'll be curious because the whole episodic thing is annoying.
Cautiously optimistic.
Right? Yeah, because some of the decision makes me concerned, but it looks beautiful, and it's the story that I recall, and it's the story that I got into with Final Fantasy. So I'm optimistic and hopeful.
Be good to see what they decide to keep and what they decide to throw out. 'Cause
Yes.
there's a lot of really cool themes in there.
I just remember the different kind of things I played in Final Fantasy VII, and the more I'd see little things about scenes of racing on the bike on the street, streets and having to knock people off stuff, that I just had so much fun with the type of like changes in gameplay throughout the entire experience, because it wasn't just the regular JRPG fight system. You had all these other things you did, being able to gamble at the floating casino and all those kind of things. That were just,
God,
it was
all
just
the
a ton
time
of
in the
fun,
floating
right?
casino.
To being able to race chocobo, to doing all the different aspects. There were so many ways you could play the game that weren't just the fight system. Even though I mostly do just the main story, I had moments where I just spent hours doing one of those things. For whatever reason, it caught my interest.
I used to go fishing in Zelda a lot
And
for hours.
But that's the thing,
I
right?
did that
It's
WoW a lot.
and WoW, geez. But it's the thing that's fun when you can do some of those things and just find your joy in that moment. That I didn't feel as much as some of the others. That for me, it just really did hit me in 7. That I couldn't even capture all the things I did in 7 through all 3 discs of it back in the day. And so nothing else had caught me kind of the same with any of the Final Fantasies ever after that. And yes, there's a talk we have about doing a bigger Final Fantasy group as a cosplay group and stuff like that at some point.
Final Fantasy X.
So that could be interesting.
Yeah. Because I have pain. Now I want to make Riku. But 10 Riku, not 10-2 Riku. Like actual clothing wearing Riku, not bikini Riku.
Whereas I think
I like that outfit a lot.
I'm set up right now to be Waka?
Yep.
I think so.
Auron.
Auron.
I can do it.
And so yeah, we've
like
got some groups
Auron.
with that going, because why not blend all of our things together into one? So other than that, what was it that I've been playing? I've been told to check out more, and I just started it, Iron Sights, which is a not on Steam. That's the first thing to throw out there.
Gasp.
Not on Steam game that is essentially a throwback to Call of Duty Black Ops 2 time frame kind of gameplay. It's very straightforward, very just FPS, go fight and kill. But it's kind of like a AAA title, but coming out as a free to play game because it's so old school in its mechanics, but so good. So I've started checking that out just a little bit. And then MechWarrior Online actually came out with a huge update. And I'm trying to get back in and play that again because they came up with an update, which is Solaris 7, which goes back to in the story and the canon about it. It's the kind of fights that they had, the gladiatorial type battles that they actually had, where in this one they added a mode where basically you can do 1v1 or 2v2 fights. And it's ranked. For throwing it at those who like to be competitive in the room. And a more slow-paced, tactical type gaming play versus straight-up FPS because you're walking around in big battle tanks. MechWarrior Online, because it allows you to min-max your actual mech and such, so you can choose how you play your style, how you want to build out your weapons, your armor, and things like that for what kind of gameplay you do. And they put you in very small, focused arenas. And as you play through, you actually rank up and you can get sponsors and things like that that can open up additional little feature stuff. It's almost like a... some Hunger Game mechanisms to it as well, but it's just
Feels a little Armored Core-y to me.
And it's
Cheers.
so it's
Sorry,
just
security checking in.
I got you. Yep, I'm alive. I'm here. I should be here. But it came into a sense that I'm actually really excited to check that out as well again now, because they keep updating the game, as well as what should be coming out tomorrow, I believe, or today or tomorrow. BattleTech, the actual tabletop rendition in video game form again, that's been kickstarted, that I kickstarted way back, starts, I think I have an email for my key right now, and so I think it goes live tomorrow.
Ooh. BattleTech?
Yes, BattleTech. I think it's 4Mech Squad or something like that. Actual top-down hexagon play in digital format. And so that's one that if you were ever into the old BattleTech games or those kind of tactical gameplay things, it's there and should be coming out. And it's got some great things. I was in the beta, but I only touched it a little bit. But I am looking forward to the game itself because I freaking loved me some BattleTech.
I'm surprised more studios that do the tabletop haven't made them
Come back
straight on
full-on
tabletop
digital.
strategy
Yep.
digital.
Oh gosh, I agree.
Games Workshop.
Oh gosh, they don't know what they're doing in general. when it comes to digital, but that's just my overall opinion. Let alone because I would love to see tabletop versions come back of things like that I used to play, like Auto Duel or Car Wars, or some of these games I just loved back in the day. We have little bits where I've seen things even to the point of the updates they did for crud. What's the Aliens game, Alien Invasion on Earth game that started out as a top-down digital?
Not Earth Defense Force.
No, it's one that's been updated now. They've had 2 versions now that are up to date. But that kind of same thing where they took an old game and just made it awesome today. Anyhow, but no, I'd love to see some more old tabletops get converted to digital. I think there's so many ways you could do it.
Oh, with nice graphics, really cool effects. Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, gosh, yes. It'd be wonderful. So there's so many things I could see done with it. Oh, hey, Chris Morton, what are you doing over there? Tabaxian, why were you in the chat over there? I was just seeing in the YouTube chat, it's like, no, come over to the Twitch chat. Everyone should be in Twitch chat. Anyhow, let's see. So that and those are the 2 ones I've been looking at recently. Haven't been gaming a whole bunch of others myself. Yes, I do, Ken. You suck.
Well, let me.
Don't know if I want to share it at all because that just encourages all you people out there. And I don't
if you
know
don't
if
send me,
to.
I'll just find it, and you know I will.
He's on Amazon getting the link to his wish list.
You
Okay,
guys
good
suck.
man.
All of you, by the way. Anyhow, let's see what else.
We just want to show some love and support to one of the main hosts of our favorite podcast, VTW Show X Productions.
lies and lies.
I also would like to
hi, what are
harass
you
you with
getting
said
me?
things. Yeah, well, when's your birthday?
I was actually just looking at mine. That's why it reminded me, because I was
God, I have
adding
such
some
a short
really
list,
depressing
it's
books
terrible.
to it. So,
When is your birthday?
like 6 months away.
Yeah, his is a ways
Okay,
away.
well,
I have
all
his. I have his listed out.
Good,
so.
good, good.
I'm
Duly
equally
noted.
bad. So the problem is, I have like 4 things on my Amazon wish list.
Well, you gotta add more then, don't you?
So there's that. Yeah.
I swear, if it's like a £3,000 gaming laptop, so that's you gotta have some other stuff in there, man.
See, yeah. Maybe I will add stuff to this during the next, like after the show, when I have to get into some cosplay things and see the. Well,
That's
we
the
have.
thing. Add things that you don't necessarily think you're gonna buy or want right now, but it'd be a nice one day to have.
You're getting me to make the face that I hate people making.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
It's the hide face.
It is.
just anyhow. Again, that is not important.
very beautiful
and
face.
should not worry about.
Patented.
Anyhow. So I think that's the main parts of what we had going on for our geek cred here for the gaming side of things. Still working out some cosplay stuff. I did do some 3D prints and things. Finished up a gun that I need to put together that's out from... Oh, wow. That is hanging over your mic stand.
Nice.
Let's undo that.
What's that doing
Scratch,
there?
scrape. To help with the Tales of Hysteria group, I was working on a weapon for the character I'm playing, Dezel. And so I 3D printed, modeled, and come up with like one of the end pieces of one of his whip weapons. I forget, what are they called? Or
Pendulums.
pendulums. And it's interesting because each character within Tales has multiple weapons they can use. And so this one's one, it's kind of, we're all focused on the defaults.
Yeah.
Just because it's the one that most people recognize. But I actually added a little bungee cord between, and I can swing them around like poi, which is kind of cool, although I need to adjust the length.
Should probably get a spare or two in case we randomly whack them into things and break it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to strengthen these up and print out like 2 or 3 more versions. I need to model it a little stronger and print out some other versions of it just to have some of those. So I've been doing some of that with 3D prints and some other costume pieces.
So this group's gonna look spectacular. We hope it actually does a solid showing at the competition there.
Yeah, so if you look for us, if you happen to be up in Anime North, you'll be able to find a full 7 party members of us.
Oh yeah, 7. Yes.
Because Coffee will
Simone.
be joining us as our villain, as Simone. Although she just showed me today a picture of her Android 21 costume that she currently has in the work from Dragon Ball Super that looks phenomenal.
Nice.
She's got the patchwork piece of the main dress, I think, essentially, for that looks really good. And so can't wait to see that finished up and see what she starts doing with Simone. As you guys were just talking about whether she goes full panties or just booty shorts for the Simone
I think
base.
booty shorts would be cute.
I think booty shorts are totally appropriate and
Yeah.
keeps keeps it within comfortable limits of any cosplay.
Yeah.
And so,
Like maybe panties if we ever did like a shoot.
yeah, actual photo shoot to get it
But,
as accurate as possible,
like-
but to be able to enjoy yourself while running around a con all day.
I mean, I can't remember. I thought they were more like
I
shorts.
thought they were shorts.
Well, and that's kind of to look at to see what's the best option. But so we're still looking at some of those kind of things. But with that, I think we have a little bit of time left, unless anyone has objection, jump into a little bit of news. And so I'll go ahead and kick this up. And
Technology, news, and more today on the Geekoscope.
so, talking about the Geekoscope, what I was looking at for me at least, I'm sure you'll have some, Ken, but I have some hopeful news for everyone. And that is for anyone looking to build, buy, or otherwise get up in your computer gaming again and hardware-wise. Rumors or hope that the cryptocurrency gold rush looks like it could be losing its luster.
Yes.
So, this article from PCGameSN.com states it's gonna be all right. We're going to be all right. According to a post on DigiTimes, cryptocurrency mining machine manufacturers are asking to put off planned shipments of mining ASICs due to, quote, lackluster replacement demands for mining machines. If they're not getting any reward out of the ASICs, then maybe they're also turning away from our graphics cards too. Maybe.
That'd be nice.
So they're starting to people are starting to see the prices of graphics cards slowly fall. And while they may never get back to the original levels, the price of modern GPUs is becoming far more palatable. And so this is something that I've actually had a lot of conversations with people in general, and this is just a quick article talking about the hope that it's true, because it's something that several friends of mine who've had to either replace cards or have tried to upgrade, or others who are just looking at that next generation, realize that between graphics cards and RAM prices right now, it is really difficult to build a new machine or to upgrade.
Yeah.
It is painfully so. And most of it has been attributed to people making cryptocurrency machines, basically these stripped down boxes with nothing but RAM and video cards in it to try to process Bitcoins. And I think, what are they officially called? Blockchain.
Blockchain.
Yeah, blockchain
Mining.
mining essentially, or blockchain algorithms that all do these cryptocurrencies. And so we're hoping it will calm down, especially because there are rumors on the forefront or somewhere on the horizon that the next series of NVIDIA cards will be coming out, the 2000 series. And so it would be nice if before those hit, prices got back to a more reasonable, let's not kill people just because they want to be able to play games.
Yeah.
Once
of
they get
pricing.
bored, it's going to crash and the market's going to flood with cards.
Yeah, well, that's the hope. There's both the side of that, because there is a return on investment piece with cryptocurrency that at some point it's just not worth it. And some people like to dump their machines because they're no longer optimize their hardware. And so it gets to when is it going to be the best chance for them to get some money back from the investment versus otherwise you're going to hold on to it to a point where they're worthless. And so if people are getting out of the cryptocurrency market, it's a good time to start selling those cards and the hardware to get some kind of money back before nobody cares because new generations come out or other prices have dropped. And after that, you're just like, all right, we're good. So now what? And so the hope is that we're actually at a stage where we're now going to get, back to reasonable prices.
Because I want to upgrade the RAM on my laptop, and gosh,
Right?
darn
It's so
it.
expensive. Well, even like when Hyde's computer took a crap,
Yeah.
and I had to build a new one, I was suffering from that. Where at least we already had the video card, but the RAM, processor, motherboard not so bad, but the RAM was surprisingly expensive when having to build a new computer. And so yeah, it sucks. And right now Ken is dealing off with cube mates that have come in, or office mates. So we'll see if we get much more back. But that was an article I wanted to bring up in general, just to kind of say I hope that it's going to get a little better. So we'll see.
Well, the funny thing is, people are starting to get hit with the beating stick from the IRS. They're really starting to ramp up the enforcement on that. I think they just recently
For
forced
the money made off of cryptocurrency?
They recently forced open one of the major crypto exchanges to provide data on all the transactions. And people are starting to get hit, and we're starting to see people come in where I didn't know I had to pay tax on this $50,000 transaction. Hint, you do. So things
all that
are becoming
money you thought you had.
very, very, very unpleasant for a lot of people who didn't realize that, yes, Uncle Sam wants its cut.
Yeah, always. Always.
There's no such thing as taxless income.
New.
Well, yeah, there is. It's called illegal income, right?
Yeah. It was,
No. Illegal income is taxable.
Ha!
Even illegal income is taxable. People don't pay it, but guess what? That's where the extra criminal penalties come in.
Wow.
Yeah, we're still going to take you to jail, but you're going to pay for it first.
Al Capone, very famous mobster, was not taken down by the feds. He was taken down
Taxes.
for not paying his taxes.
Yep. It's amazing what gets you. And so, yikes. But, yeah, so we'll see if that happens. I really hope it does. Ken, did you have any articles you specifically wanted to have on hand to bring up?
Yeah, I've got quite a few here. So there's a few here that are not necessarily gaming related. They're just kind of things that, one, I'm interested in, or two, I feel like people should know about. So the first one is kind of more an environmental thing, and I do like to use any kind of audience that I have to raise some environmental issues where I can. So this one is from the BBC News in the UK, and it's something interesting that's happening here in the UK. There's a new law being proposed to ban plastic straws and cotton buds.
What? Okay,
Yeah.
plastic straws. Okay, what's the other one?
Cotton buds. So like the things you can poke in your ear or
Oh, okay.
make up all with.
Gotcha.
Q-tips.
Okay. Q-tips, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what you call them. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Ban
so
them
yeah,
though? Why?
Yeah, ban them completely because ministers have pointed to one estimate that 8.5 billion plastic straws are thrown away in every year in the UK. 8.5 billion, which is
Okay.
insane.
Fair.
Plastic waste is one of the greatest environmental challenges facing the world, yada, yada, yada. And they're saying that this is going to hopefully make big changes that can make a huge difference. The thing is, little bits of plastic like that are so common can be very pervasive within the ecosystem. They can kind of go anywhere.
Yes, because animals
they-
can eat them. They get transported all over the place. They don't quickly or easily get consumed or anything else. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're quite pervasive into the ecosystem in general. So getting rid of these kind of things is the first step into fixing this problem. There's also been a lot of talk about Costa and Starbucks in the past couple weeks as well, about how they're dealing with all their cups, because I think I read a figure that said 99.5% of all coffee cups are not recycled because people just throw them in general trash.
Oh.
And that's insane. How many coffee cups is that per day? That's more than most of us would drink in our lifetime in one day, you know? And that's a lot of cups.
That is.
There's a lot of cups out there that's just going straight back into the environment and takes hundreds of years to decay.
Well, and that's... so the question I have with that, is it better to ban or is it better to look at alternatives? And this is something I don't know if it actually means, like... if this makes any logical sense, but I've seen articles where people have tried to show that there's possibilities of replacing some of the things we commonly use every day with more not recyclable, but bio-friendly, in that they will break down types of products. And so different kinds of cups, straws, things like that, where they're not truly plastic. And I know there's...
I know that Starbucks a while back stopped, like, they changed their policies to stop putting this little sleeves on their cup. So they still offer them, but they stopped putting them on. So people won't grab them if they're in a rush anyway. So that saves that. But they also made sure that they are all recyclables. Like, they're all made out of 100% recycled stuff. At least the sleeves are. I don't know that the cups are. I'm
Well, 'cause
sure
I know
have
the
one
cups
sitting in
have-
my car for me to go check out.
I know the
but-
cups have lining to try to help them manage the heat and what would otherwise melt down with the hot liquids they're putting in them. So they're not just paper. There's some lining to them. But, and at the same time, while there are better materials out there that could easily break down, there are better biodegradables. The challenge with that, and it's because I saw one example, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, nope, that'll never fly. It was it was for a plastic that either was to kind of hold cans and pop bottle type things together, because the challenge of those choking out animals and stuff like that if they're put without being cut into landfills. Or it was some other one like that, but whatever it was, they showed that it could break down completely in like a month's time. The problem with that is you break something down in a month's time, well then how long can you store it? And how long can you have it before you have to use it? Before it becomes a dangerous thing, because it's already starting to break down and it loses capability, so you put a hot drink in it and then it just falls apart. You know, where's your balance?
But the tool, the material itself is still useful, but you need to be careful with what it's useful for. I mean, just because it breaks down quickly, just don't use it for your long-term storage. You know, don't put, I don't know, don't put tomato ketchup in it, you know, and you'll be fine.
Well, but even, I mean, normal shelf life. So a restaurant that orders a sleeve of recyclable or biodegradable cups, hot cups, how long can you have them in storage before they get used, before they're no longer usable and you just have to throw them out? Because currently with plastic-based ones, things like that, you can store them almost indefinitely. They don't have a shelf life themselves.
So it strikes me as a canny business move, actually, to do it that way, because, oops, You gotta
had to
throw
buy
them out
more.
and get some new
So
ones.
I'm wondering if you could actually change it in a way to have the packaging actually sealed around it, and so once it makes contact with air, then the degrading time starts. So you could almost keep them in storage for however long and have shelf life until the plastic seal is broken, like on the actual bag, like when you open it, and that's when that timer starts ticking.
Yeah, for that sleeve of cups or something.
Which
And,
would
and that's
make
a
it-
thought.
which
You know,
would make the shelf life.
potentially much longer or indefinite. But that was just some of the questions
then
I
also
have
then
in
be able to
general
break
with
down
that,
almost immediately.
which I'd be cool with that. And so I do think there's some blends of, and I wonder if the whole banning is the right answer, or and this is kind
I'm
of
interested to see where it
going
goes for
into
sure.
yeah, or if there's some other regulation or options that can be provided. I know that banning tends to be the easy answer for a lot of people. Yeah.
I'm generally against banning with this kind of thing, but the difference is when it comes to the environmental stuff, it's literally just we're going to die sooner if we do this stuff. It's just pretty dumb. I mean, I'm generally
That's
for
a good way to
personal
put it.
freedoms, but when it's personal freedoms that infringe on others' rights, which this does, in my opinion,
Yeah, that's still
killing
the proper
world
term.
is just infringing everybody's rights. So that's where I have a problem with it. But I was going to say, I've also changed my toothbrushes from plastic ones to bamboo ones. Both me and Ken feature use bamboo toothbrushes, and it's much more friendly for the environment, and they last longer. So it's not they're not too expensive. I think they're like 27 pence more than the plastic alternative. So we had absolutely no problem doing that, you know.
Yeah, and it's nothing that I will ever give people crap about trying to be better about the environment and things like that. It's a challenge because it's still, I think, a lot of times left in the hands of the consumers to choose to do a lot of that, where it would be nice if it was pushed forward to companies to do more of the things that would allow that to be just the de facto way it works. Problem is that cuts into profit, and therefore no company is ever going to support it.
Trusting companies to do anything that isn't making profit. Yeah.
It's the classic challenge is never be sheeple enough to think that companies are going to do anything for the betterment of the world or us. They're doing it to make profit. If they align that they can do both, then they will at times because it's good PR. But by default, companies are, it's still a selfish thing.
In the end.
And so they will still abuse what they can to make all the money they can. That's just a known thing.
Absolutely.
So, anyhow.
So I've got loads more articles here. Sorry, I didn't mean to take so much time with that one. So I've got one here. It's more news that I think is fairly new. It's just been updated 4 minutes ago. A naked gunman has killed 4 in a Nashville Waffle House today.
What?
Yeah, a nude gunman has killed 4 people at Waffle
my
House in
goodness.
Nashville in Tennessee.
The guy that was at John's party that loves Waffle House, he's going to be heartbroken.
Well,
Sorry
the
to
man
make a
versus-
joke of this, but he was telling us how much he loved Waffle House.
Well, they're going to
Yikes.
be in some.
Well, it's the challenge of just the world we live in and all the kind of things that you just hear about day after day. So that's not good. I mean, let alone people that we keep seeing passing away and things like that.
Yeah.
That have been going on. So
he burst into the restaurant at about 3:30 in the morning in the suburb of Antioch. Or Antioch, I don't know how you guys would say
Antioch?
it. And opened fire with a semi-automatic rifle. 2 other people were wounded. One of them wrestled the weapon from the man, who then fled from the scene on foot. So, hey, one hero there. Big shout out to the guy who wrestled the weapon from the guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's insanely cool.
Yeah, you're
Total
a beast.
badass.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Can we just recognize him publicly and openly instead of putting the killer's picture on all these news articles? Can we have the hero's picture?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yes. Let's do that. I like that better.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's share his
that goes
picture. He deserves
that goes
his
back to
picture.
my statement about all mass killers should be relabeled officially as asshat number 1 through N, and be stripped
Yeah.
of any of their individuality
Instead
or
of given
fame.
heroism.
Yep, any kind of fame, even infamy, just take it away from them and make it just, nope, you're an asshat, you did horrible things, and that's how you'll be forever remembered.
There was a person with indeterminate age, race, gender, religion, political views, gun
Exactly.
control preferences, etc. Yeah, I'd like that. I've got another sciencey article I kind of wanted to share.
We
And
like
I wanted to bring this up because I actually heard it on the radio earlier this week, and I thought it was fascinating. It's a really weird thing when we bring up. The Bajau people in South America have evolved 150% bigger spleens for free diving compared to their neighbors in surrounding villages.
Interesting,
So this is
especially
not- this
even
is not-
compared to neighboring villages. That's wow.
Yeah, and this is not just for these people who are actually doing the diving, even their family who have never dived in their entire life also have the bigger spleens because it's literally through genetic evolution. It's not just through a single lifespan microevolution.
Wow.
So it shows that there's a real example of these humans who are like,
wait. You're making some kind of weird assumption that evolution's a real thing.
You're funny and know how to get under my skin. Oh. So they're traditionally nomadic and seafaring and survive by collecting shellfish from the seafloor. And they've done this for generations and generations. But the villages nearby, these other tribes, they've always been more farmers. And so they have completely different spleen sizes. Now, spleens help with the oxidation of blood. There's an effect, I think, that I remember correctly from the radio show, where they basically said that if you both hold your breath and get covered in water, like you go underwater, your body undergoes certain changes in order to allow more oxygen to enter your blood, etc. And one of them is it holds a lot of oxygen or oxygen-rich blood, I should say, within the spleen. And once you go under those conditions, that blood is then released into your bloodstream, allowing you to technically, well, not breathe it, but what's the word?
Use it? Like use that oxygen?
Yeah, I guess just use it. Yeah, that's not the word I'm looking for. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it allows them to use it. Yeah. And so this is a true evolution that we can actually see that isn't just like minor difference like skin color or eye color or hair color. This is literally an organ that's hugely different in order to actually assist these people in what they do with their livelihood and their way of surviving. And I think that's just fascinating. It's just fascinating that we can see a real example here and now of evolution working in humans. I think that's just crazy.
No,
it's so cool.
That's great. It's
That is
something
so
that
cool.
no, and it's something that I'm glad someone's actually studying and looking into, because that's been such a controversial thing for so many. Where it's like, come on, evolution's real. We can see it in so many different studies, but to see it still happening among humanity is actually pretty cool. So that yes, hopefully we can continue to see ourselves improve. Although I'm also worried about the type of evolution we have in our side, because I'm sure it's still happening to us because we have such different lifestyles now than we used to. So the foods we eat, the activities we do, and things like that we are adjusting because of that, whether it be good, bad, or ugly.
Hungering for vegetables, you know that. That's probably the likely one.
Once I can put myself in a cybernetic body, all of this becomes irrelevant. The next stage of humanity.
There are discussions with me where, and I think Ken and you and I have talked about cybernetics before and things like that, that there are parts of my body I would be very willing to give up first in hoping to upgrade to something mechanical, but there are some I think I would hold on to vehemently. Well, so it's like my non-primaries. I would give up my left eye, but not my right. I would give up, like my left arm before my right, things like that. Just things that if I could find an improved version, because I'm not ready to go full mechanical, because I'd kind of want to see how it turns out. But
I could easily delve into the philosophical side of this, because there's a lot. I've talked about this quite extensively with people in the past, and it is very interesting. But I have a couple of news stories I'd like to bring up as well, if that's all right. Unless anybody else has anything else they'd like to bring up.
That was good from Pun saying, Wayne, do you want Necrons? Because that's how you get Necrons. Yes, as Akko's like, yes.
Hey! Calm down the heresy there, fine Imperial citizen. An Inquisitor will be on your doorstep shortly.
Yes. Yeah, nobody expects. Oh no, you expect them. You expect that. Oh shoot.
You may expect them, but you may not expect the widespread damage of them purging all heresy.
Yeah, when they come
Or
to
the
purge
Spanish
everyone.
Inquisition.
Oh jeez. So
The Mexican Inquisition. We didn't expect you.
No one ever does.
but with that, yes. Oh, that's funny. Although I think now it looks like we're running out of time for today's show, Ken.
I have one final announcement I'd like to make.
Please do.
Interesting. It's a gaming one. I think it's important to at least have one gaming news article here. So the long-awaited horror title Agony has finally got a release date as of the past week. So the Kickstarter horror title Agony finally has a release date, and it will be coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One on May 29th, which is a lot sooner than I think anybody
That's
expected.
very soon. There's so many things that are happening nowish. Like, this weekend is Infinity War. Everyone.
Oh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Oh.
quick.
Uh-huh.
I don't have my Nebula cosplay done. I don't have it started.
So, let alone other movies and such that are coming out in the next month that are all things that I care about and stuff like that are in our community. So it's amazing how quickly things are coming.
That's terrifying. Okay, so shall I do the lead out?
Please do, sir.
Oh, right before you do, however, I would like to announce that I have officially reached 1,769 CPS, also known as cookies per second, in Cookie Clicker, since mentioned earlier in this podcast.
So all of that background you've been hearing of clicking has been the added cookie.
1,801.
That's very
1,809 CPS.
Jeez. Anyhow,
I am efficient.
yes, Ken, please.
Please.
Efficient.
Please close the show.
Efficient.
Efficient.
You have been listening to Show X live on VTWProductions.com, but probably not. You're actually probably watching it on twitch.tv/VTW Show X.
Yes.
You can also check us out on YouTube.com and just search for Versus the World video and you should find us there. Okay, check us out on Facebook.com, search for Show X in there and you'll find us as well. We share lots of memes and interesting stuff there. Email us into the show if you want to tell us your geek cred and we'll talk about it next week. You can do so by emailing showx@vtwproductions.com. Follow us on Twitter. For myself, weighing the show, it's GoHex, it's Doc Dead, and it's Show X, VTW Show X actually. And I think other people also have shout-outs they want to give. Hyde, would you like to go first?
I'm sorry. What am I shouting out? I was
Your channels and things.
Twitter and such.
I'm Hide My Error on Twitter. I am at hidemyerror.com, my new website, which is getting there. Or check me out on Facebook. Just Hide My Error Cosplay.
Mine's ukoanime.wordpress. I think it's .com after that. It's .wordpress anyhow. The other one is we're about set to launch foxsmith.com, which is all of these creative enterprises together. So CMI Fashion Printing, Level Me Up Consulting, Foxsmith Branding Design, so on. That's going to be launching soon whenever I finish it.
Well, and I need to get some words together because Level Me Up, consulting for all of your best business needs. We're here to help you be a better you, and try to come up with the right language with that. So I have to do my extrovert bit and get all that going. So yeah, we got those going. You know, of course, me. I'm at Doc Dead pretty much everywhere that you can look and hope to find me, and us here with Show X. Gotta run, gotta do other things to do. About to jump into a cosplay thing because a little one of our closed groups has Yaya Han live right now, talking and answering cosplay questions.
All of our cosplay marketing questions specifically.
Yes. So we're gonna jump into that right here after the show. But yes, Happy Dude and others, if you want to play games, feel free to jump on to either the Discord or I think probably the Discord's the one that's favored at the moment for VTW Productions, and jump in there, VTW Gaming's Discord, and play some games together. But we have work to do, so we're gonna jump out of here. So thank you everybody for listening. We'll catch you again next week, and we will see you again. Thanks.
Bye.
As I now hit all of the buttons.
Goodbye. See you next zombie. Good night.